Hey there, America. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. We're actually at Helltown Brewery, which is one of our absolute favorite breweries here in the Pittsburgh area.
So Helltown, people ask, are you guys like devil worshippers? I'm like, no, not at all. Like,
anytime you see Helltown in a can or in a keg, it's coming out of this facility now. We're here at a nice patio home in Seven Fields. I'm with Amy Hunt. She's the owner of Sort.
Welcome to the American Dream TV. This is a real show based on lifestyle, culture, and real estate. I'm your host, Amy Scruggs. In this episode, we are headed to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we will be featuring the RSY Team. Let's get this episode started right now.
The search is over, baby. I'm right here, and I got it.
The American Dream, the only show that combats negative media, not owned by a network, commercial-free, unscripted.
I got it.
These are stories for you and by you.
Hey there, America. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. We're either in a little part of heaven or possibly hell right now. Just kidding. We're actually at Helltown Brewery, which is one of our absolute favorite breweries here in the Pittsburgh area. They've got locations throughout the city. We're going to take you through, talk about that. But actually, we have Joe inside. He's with three integral parts of the brewery itself. He's with Arnie, Byron, and Pat, the head brewer. They're going to go through the whole process of what they do here. Later on in the show, we're gonna have John sitting down with Amy Hunt. She's our professional organizer and stager, and talk about her intricacy to our business and how it helps our sellers achieve a much higher price and really gets them ready for the market. So without further ado, let's meet Joe inside and get this started.
Hey America, here we are in Pittsburgh, PA, and the export location for Helltown Brewery. I'm with the head brewer, Pat Harris, and he's gonna kind of give us a little tour of the area, tell us a little bit about some of their upcoming beers. I know we got some special stuff that is gonna be released in the next couple months, so we're gonna get a heads up on that, and we're gonna try some of their local favorites. I know that Buffy is one of my favorites, and hopefully we get to sample a little bit. But here's Pat. Pat, tell us a little bit about your day-to-day operations, kind of what we're gonna see, and just kind of generally what goes on here. So here at the production facility, we have a 4-vessel, 30-barrel brew house here that we'll operate at least one turn, usually 2 turns a day, so we can crank out about 60 barrels of beer, which for those of you who aren't brewers is roughly 2,000 gallons of beer a day. We ferment that beer out. That stuff takes, 4 to 6 weeks usually to go from the brew deck to a finished product. And then once it's done fermenting, we'll put it in the cans. We'll take a look at the canning line a little bit later today. And then we get it into packaging for everyone to enjoy, hopefully.
Awesome. So everything's done from start to finish here?
Yeah, so anytime you see Helltown in a can or in a keg, it's coming out of this facility now.
Okay.
We have another facility in Mount Pleasant where we are slowly working on turning that into a sour house. So in another year or so, you might see some specialty bottles coming out of there. But right now, almost all of our production is coming out of the export location.
That's awesome. So you obviously being the head brewer here, what's your favorite beer?
So it kind of changes seasonally. Right now, I'm really drinking a lot of Lattice, which is our low gravity New England IPA. And I'm drinking our German style Pilsner a lot also. 2 lighter, easier to drink, really sessionable beers.
Okay. So I mean, on that note, kind of tell me a little bit about all styles of beer that you offer here at Helltown.
Sure, yeah, so we make a lot of New England IPAs like a lot of breweries do nowadays. But our passion is for more traditional style beers. So one of the founders, Sean, he really likes Belgian beers and English style beers. So that was sort of the inspiration for Mischievous Brown. It's a Southern English style brown ale. It's a really solid beer. I personally gravitate more towards the German stuff, so that's why we do a Helles and a Pilsner. We have a Rausch beer that's coming out in August, and that will be, it's a traditional smoked beer for anybody who doesn't know. And it's sort of a dark malty beer with a little bit of a kind of a campfire note to it.
Okay.
Real excited about that one. All right, 2 beers that I just kind of want to touch on. One right now is this Stick Shift, which I believe is now available.
It is now available, correct?
All right, excellent. But there's a great story behind this that Arnie, the lead investor for Helltown, is going to talk about. But July 24th and 25th, they're going to be at the Vintage Grand Prix, which is in Shenley Park in the city of Pittsburgh. It's an amazing event. It's been going on for many years, and they're very, very proud to be a part of this charitable contribution here. All right, so here we are with Byron Nash, and he's a marketing director for Helltown Brewery. And he, a great story. He's got 4 years of collaboration with these guys. And tell me a little bit about that, how you guys all came together.
I got booked to play a gig 4 years ago at Fresh Fest. It was the first African-American beer festival, craft beer festival. And then they sent me an email and said, hey, you're with Helltown. And I'm like, oh, I'm assuming I'm just pouring beers at their table.
Yeah.
Then they sent me an email and they're like, come on out. They're asking me what type of beers I liked, and went out to the brewery, and they were like, all right, we're gonna make this IPA for the festival. And I'm like, well, how much beer are you gonna make? And they told me, and I was like, that's a lot of beers, all for this one event.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, no. I'm like, well, what are you gonna do with the rest of the beer? And they're like, I don't really know yet. I'm like, oh, well, what's it called? And they're like, we don't really know yet. And I'm like, oh. My background in bartending, I'm well known in the city, so I was thinking maybe I could help sell it. They gave me freedom to come up with the name. I reached out to all my contacts and said, hey, I have a beer coming out, and they all bought it. The beer sold out. Promoted it really well, and then we kind of just kept it going each year, changing the recipe. And then last year they reached out, even during the pandemic, and said, hey, we still want to do the beer, but we're just going to can it.
Sure.
So that gave an opportunity to come up with cool artwork. So I came up with some designs, worked with the illustrator. That did really well, and then now we're on Black Metal 4.
That's so cool. The 4th production is now coming out. Is it available in stores yet? Or?
It will be available June 25th.
Okay, so real soon. If they were to come to Helltown, any locations, can they get this right
Tap
now?
room, most distributors around the city,
Okay.
where you can get Helltown, Black Metal will be.
Tell me a little bit about what style of beer it is, what does it taste like, what kind of hops are used, all that good stuff.
Well, this year we went, so I really love like old school classic IPAs,
Okay.
with that little bit of West Coast grit to it.
Okay.
So each year, first year was a double, then we went West Coast, then we kind of did a little playing around last year. This is the first hazy IPA that we've ever done. We wanted to go bright, something lighter. You know, we came out somewhere around late September last year. We wanted to release earlier because people are back in the world. They're trying to be social and have a good time. But we didn't want a beer that was going to be so strong that you can only have 2 and you're falling off your stool. So this is more like a community kind of come together beer where you can drink a few of them and have a good time.
So besides this guy right here, what's your favorite Helltown beer?
I like, I'm always on the double IPAs with them. My favorite, Rapture. I like Rapture a lot, and the Wretched is really nice, strong ale. If, again, respect the Wretched.
Yep.
It'll sneak up on you. And then Black Metal, I mean, that's not just because it's mine, I actually like the beer. Pat worked really hard to dial in the recipe based off the specs of what I wanted, but also what I thought that the public would like.
Okay.
So it's more about what the people want, and so I think we've found that happy medium. So.
Cool. All right, last question or last little statement. So as you know, part of our goal is to promote local. A couple episodes prior, we promoted T2 CrossFit, our friends Anna and Brad Tobias, and just learned that Byron is also in the CrossFit community, so he coaches at
CrossFit Pittsburgh.
Cool. And where's that located?
Hamilton Avenue in
Okay.
Pittsburgh, right behind Bakery Square.
Cool. So you can drink some of this Black Metal and then work off the calories with him as your CrossFit coach.
There we go.
there. So thanks, man. Nice
Hey,
to meet
thank
you.
you. I
Appreciate your
appreciate
time.
it.
All right, cool. Take
Thank
care.
you.
So still here at Helltown, hanging out with a longtime friend and client, Arnie Berkiani, investor of Helltown Brewery. Would love to know how you got involved with all of this and just a little bit about just where the Helltown name comes from and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So fan, 10 years ago, I started drinking Rapture, which is my favorite beer. Sean, the founder, Sean Gentry, started this brewery in Helltown. It'll be 10 years this August. And my in-laws and family are down in that area. So we'd stop down, kids would play, we'd run down to the brewery in Mount Pleasant, and we'd get a couple pints, bring a growler back, And I was always impressed with how good Rapture was consistent. I just couldn't understand how he did it out of that little garage.
Yeah.
And so when I had an opportunity to invest in the business, because I was a pretty loyal fan, I saw Rivertown filed for bankruptcy. And it was exactly what Sean needed to take his beer with his team to get it into cans and to get more production so we can get more beer out into the community. So I made that investment of buying Rivertown out of bankruptcy, be 3 years this November.
Okay.
And I'm real proud of the quality of the beer these guys are putting out.
Yeah.
Boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up.
You got to tell me a little bit about just the name, right?
Yeah, so Helltown, people ask, are you guys like devil worshippers? I'm like, no, not at all. Like, it's, if you go back, the history of it is if you go back to the Whiskey Rebellion, like in 1794-ish, and if you look at the history, I'm no historian, but as the Brits had blocked the movement of sugarcane to make rum and Maduro, which is kind of sold pretty broadly, people in Western PA, predominantly like down that Mount Pleasant area, definitely Washington County, they started to say, hey, we got cereal grains. We're just going to fire up the stills and we're gonna make rye whiskey and whiskey. And so they did that, but then to pay for the war, George Washington kind of told Alexander Hamilton, you got to get out west. Now think about it, they head out west from Philadelphia to the western side of Pennsylvania to collect taxes. So when the tax collectors came over the Laurel Mountains, they would tar them, feather them, kill them. They didn't want to be paying taxes. They wanted to keep moving their whiskey. And it got to be known as Helltown because it was a really rough town during that period where people would come through. And then if you fast forward 100 years later, we're on Henry Clay Frick Avenue, the road there.
Yeah.
That's where he lived, and he had all this coke ovens. So if you think about the 100 years after that, in the late 1800s and the 1900s, when they were the coke ovens, you're coming off the Laurel Mountains and you look down, everything like hell. It was like from the coke ovens. And so that's how Helltown got its, that's kind of a little history of the name.
Yeah.
And that's how Sean selected it. And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good story.
I think it's great. Speaking of rich history, you guys are coming up on a pretty epic year in being Helltown, right?
Yeah, it's 10 years.
Nice.
10 years in August, and we're going to be celebrating.
Okay.
I mean, we got some beers you'll be hearing about soon. 4 different beers will come out for our 10-year anniversary. And as you heard from Byron, you heard from Pat, I mean, we're just really proud of our beers. Some great things from our, from our black metal beer to the Vintage Grand Prix.
Cool.
A lot of good stuff coming out, and you're going to hear about some more things in August. I don't want to give you too much information.
Yeah, we can't give it all away.
We want to get you ready for it. Big partying going on for our customers and for those who are loyal to us. And I hope you can join us for that.
Yeah, would love to. Well, speaking of that, tell me a little bit about this stick shift. We talked about it briefly before. Yeah. I can see your passion just in Helltown Brewery, but when we start talking about this, you kind of lit up even more. So tell me a little bit about what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real honor. So when I first invested in the business, like I said, close to 3 years ago, the Shelby GT350 was on the can. I have that car, and I was really pumped about it.
Yeah.
Like I carried it around with me. I had the shirts on every day, and really cool to have the Corvette this year, and to be selected as a brewery to, have the right to put these cars and make a beer for the Vintage Grand Prix. We're real excited about it. We'll have a tent out at Shenley. We're selling beer out there. It'll be in the market. Our wholesaler is Frank Fuhr, so it'll be in the market. And the cause is really good. There's a nonprofit organization and a lot of money to be put to use for good things. You can check that out online under the Pittsburgh Grand Prix. But again, we're really honored to be selected to showcase that beer for that event. And it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
All right, America, as promised, we're here with Pat, head brewer. He's going to give us a tour of the facility and really get to see the nuts and bolts here and check it out.
All right, so this is sort of where the whole brewing process happens. We're up here on the brew deck. This is where we begin the conversion of grain and water and hops into a finished beer product.
Okay.
We mix crushed grain with hot water, convert starches into sugars, boil it with some hops, cool it down, and then we send it down to the cellar, which is gonna be our next stop on the tour.
All right, let's check it out.
right, guys, this is the cellar. It's a little bit noisy down here, but basically once we start the brewing process, we send what is gonna be beer down here. We add our yeast, and then the yeast is what actually converts all of the hops and the sugar that we made up there on the brew deck into the tasty beer. The beer will hang out here in these big tanks you can see behind us for 4 to 6 weeks before it's a finished product. And then once that's done, we will carbonate it in our bright tanks here, one of which you can see being cleaned. From there, we are gonna move it into the canning line for packaging for everyone to enjoy. All right, guys, so once the yeast has done its magic, the beer is ready to be packaged. It comes in here on the canning line. You can see Dan and Sean, they are packaging Black Metal right now. That is gonna be our New England IPA that we did in collaboration with Byron Nash.
So how many cans in a day are really running through here?
It depends on what we need in terms of sales, but this thing will do about 45 cans a minute. So we can crank out, a pallet holds about 100 cases of beer, and if we're really running full tilt, we can do about 8 pallets a day. So roughly 800 cases in a day if we wanted to.
Nice.
Hey, I just want to welcome everybody. We're here at a nice patio home in Seven Fields. I'm with Amy Hunt. She's the owner of SORT. Really cool acronym. Could you explain the name and what you do?
Sure. So SORT stands for Simplify, Organize, Refresh, and Transform. We specialize in professional organization, staging, and interior design.
That's great. We actually use Amy very frequently with our listings. We don't actually need to redo everything. A lot of times you work with what people have, is that right?
Absolutely.
Could you explain a little bit more, maybe what you might do in a property like this to make it a little bit more marketable?
So one of the things we pride ourselves on is using the materials that a homeowner already has in their possession. So for instance, in this space, I would recommend clearing off most of the things on the mantle, except for the clock, packing away the personal effects like photos, books in a political or religious nature, and decluttering tabletops and also things on the floor. Most of the time, when we can just pack away these extra layers, the space is more open and appeals to more buyers.
Great. In terms of staging, do you make suggestions in that regard, like things that might need to be brought in? I mean, what would you recommend here, for example?
Absolutely. So one of my main recommendations is that most homes, in their bathrooms, I recommend clean white towels and a solid color shower curtain. I also recommend things like a neutral bedspread and that all the lights are turned on and the window blinds are open when you're showing a house.
It's great. Like I mentioned, we do use Amy very frequently whenever we have properties that might need a little bit of enhancement. We found that they sell a lot quicker when they're visually appealing, and things are going quick right now, but online, I mean, you're competing against so many, and your services are invaluable. That's something we bring to the table with all our listings. Amy's really, she's that iron fist in a velvet glove, right? She'll tell you what needs done, and that helps us get the property sold. Could you maybe describe a little bit about what you might do in the dining room over here?
Sure. The dining room, this is a wonderful open concept. And so in the dining room, I would recommend taking down the photographs that are on the wall. They're personal in nature, and I think potential buyers would have a better understanding of what they could do with the space if those were removed. There's also a baker's rack against the wall, and I feel like if we remove that from the space, in general, the dining room would feel more open and a better flow for people to move around back and forth from the living room to the kitchen.
You've done some really extravagant homes for us, but we can find benefit in just this property that we're bringing to market. We appreciate you coming by to help us out. We're going to have this listed hopefully soon. I know you have your work ahead of you, so I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to the American Dream.
Let's get this show started right now.
I don't think they heard me the first time.
Does this ever get old?
If you're looking for homes in the Pittsburgh area, then you are in luck. We have RSY Team's latest listings right here. Let's check them out.
Welcome to 5422 Norm Lee Place. This terrific tutor is just minutes away from prestigious Carnegie Mellon University. It's been completely updated with all the perfect modern touches. Located at the end of a cul-de-sac, the all-brick home's curb appeal is simply undeniable. The property features a tile roof, detached garage, hardwood and ceramic tile floors, multiple fireplaces, 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, and all new windows. The renovations really steal the show, from the kitchen to the bathroom to the finished game room, and most importantly, the back deck area. Every design choice and finish has been given the great attention and care. You will love living at 5422 Norm Lee Place in the heart of Squirrel Hill. This is 860 Chalmers Place. This beautiful 5-year-old custom home has 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. You are within minutes of walking distance to both the elementary and middle school and prestigious Mount Lebanon. You'll love living in this amazing community with everything in the South Hills just minutes away.
Welcome to 112 Gatehouse Drive in the prestigious gated community of Sherrington Manor in Moon Township. Castle-like and situated on 1.49 meticulously landscaped acres, the estate boasts resort-like grounds for entertaining, including a balcony, veranda, and grand entrance. Inside, you'll be greeted with gleaming marble and a soaring foyer punctuated by a show-stopping staircase. The rest of the home is just as stunning, with walls of windows, natural light, and the finest craftsmanship money can buy. 5 bedrooms, each with its own ensuite, await, and 3 high-end kitchens make this home ideal for entertaining. There's also ample room to relax and regal fireplaces to enjoy. Don't forget the home gym, completed with the hot tub and steam shower, billiard area, bar, home theater, truly every amenity you could want. The 3-car heated garage is wonderful convenience, as there are dual home offices and access to Pittsburgh's airport, Montour Country Club, and schools. This one is special. This grand, solid brick Victorian sits high above, overlooking one of the best city skylines in the country. 421 Bailey Avenue resides on top of the historic 257-acre Emerald View Park, with views of downtown Pittsburgh as far east as Oakland. The oversized parcel has a level entry and amazing mature trees. One of these trees even found itself on the cover of Parade magazine. The welcoming porch takes you into the large foyer, showcasing gleaming hardwood floors, stained glass windows, and skilled woodwork throughout. Behind the pocket doors lies one of the most majestic dining rooms you will see. This updated kitchen flows through to the most impressive area, the outdoor space. The terrace shows off the stunning view of the city, along with commercial-grade, in-ground pool. Everything that was done to this home, including the added 3-car garage, was done at the highest grade possible. Located in the heart of Pittsburgh's East End, 314 South Dallas is a perfect blend of timeless craftsmanship and modern livability. This stately Point Breeze home boasts 7 spacious bedrooms, 5 full bathrooms, and 2.5 baths. The grandeur of this impeccably maintained home can be seen in the refinished hardwood floors, high ceilings, crown moldings, butler's pantry, and curated chandeliers and fireplaces. With respect to the home's architecture, new custom windows, expansive concrete driveway, security system, a new roof, gutters, and downspouts have been the recent updates. Make sure to explore the den, finished basement, and palatial backyard. Truly a magnificent place to call home.
We're going to take you up to one of our properties here in Swickley. It's actually up in Swickley Heights, which is a little different than living in the village. When you're in the Heights, you have to have a minimum of 5 acres to build a home. So this custom Doug Berryman home built by Ed Kress sits on 5.44 acres. Meticulously landscaped, has a huge wraparound porch and an enclosed area as well, so you can dine or just sit out there and enjoy the babbling brook at any point in the day. When you walk in, the home does have 4 bedrooms, 5 full baths. It has a massive sunken living room and a completely updated kitchen with floors that are very unique to me. These wood floors are actually a pumpkin pine from New Hampshire. It has been well cared for from the original owner still to this date, and offers many amenities, including a master suite with a Juliet balcony and a full ensuite and walk-in closets. This home is minutes away from the village, so if you want the exercise, you can walk up and down the hill to this property, or you just take a quick, short little drive. But it definitely will offer something unique, almost country-like setting, but again, you're only 12 miles from the city, so you can enjoy everything Pittsburgh has to offer in this unique home.
We hope you enjoyed this latest episode of the American Dream TV in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Make sure and follow us on social media and engage with us in the conversation. I'm your host, Amy Scruggs, and we look forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, cheers to your American Dream.
This show is designed for you, and it's really by you.
This is where I wanna be.
We're going to show you what makes our areas great, our neighborhoods, our lifestyles, our culture, and yes, our real estate.
Our real estate market is hotter than ever.
It's a positive show, a real show.
I love selling homes.
So anywhere you go, all across the coast, we do it every time. Like na 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 na. I got nothing but the highlights. Can't believe that this is my life. I'm only living on the bright side. I'm like na 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 na.
I'm flossing, so floss. I'm glossing, yeah, so glossy new.
Our show is called The American Dream because we believe that everybody has the opportunity to do everything they want to in their life, as long as they don't let any and every excuse get in the way. People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care.
I've spent the last few years traveling the country, meeting the best in the business.
We say we're here to educate, empower, and engage. We want it to be a positive message that's uplifting. I think there's a real thirst for that. Tell the truth, make it matter, and never be boring. And that's my advice for you today as you get prepared to come on our show.
Let's get it started right now.